we're going to shift our AMAs to quarterly AMAs. This will allow us to basically update and touch on a lot of press releases or announcements that have been made in that quarter, and then answer any questions that have come up about that. So our AMAs, again, will be switching to quarterly rhythm. So look for an October AMA. Right now, it's temporarily set to be October 14th. That could very well change. So please bear with us. Watch our social media channels for that announcement when we come out with an exact date. We'll try to give everybody about a month's heads up for that. So with that, I do see that the question box start to fill up here. So Sam, you want to read off the first question?
Yeah, I can take the first one. The question is, what was the 90-cent spike we saw this month? I am glad you noticed 90-cent spike. There was a fill, 90-some cents this month. It's basically the result of a large market order coming in that ate up all the order book. So that's just basically what happened. This is what we should expect when the news about Kula, gets out and get market interest, and the folks who want to place larger orders basically jump in and place a market order. So in contrast to what Micah has been saying about the over-the-counter deal, this is what the market will react to if all these over-the-counter deals became market order. It is what will drive the crypto prices. Normally what people see in the projects, how the price just like exponentially move up because there's a large interest coming in. And what we wanted to do at Kula is to provide the opportunity for everyone to participate into the Kula project. We want the price to, obviously we don't want it to drop, but we want it to go up steadily. So it is something that we are preparing ourselves to do and to provide the wider community with. So the spike is really some market order ate up the whole order book. So now we have prepared further, injected more liquidity into the market, working with our market maker to get ready for larger orders that will come in the future. So that's number one. I can take number two as well, Micah, but feel free to jump in if I forget something. Any new update regarding tier one exchanges? So we are dealing with at least two of them right now. One of them is going through due diligence of Kula project. And then with all the big news coming in on our social, I have personally pinged both of them. I haven't received a reply just yet, but we are certainly looking forward to moving along with the process there. Right now, as you can tell, the crypto market is seriously like warming back up, and it's been going up. I think the total market cap was like 3.9 trillion now. A couple of months ago it was only at 3, right? So all the exchanges are really busy. From what I heard, some of them are listing 2 tokens a day. So there's large amount of work for them, especially for the tier ones. So we are doing our best to keep pinging them and see, we get like a better reply and to see where our DD process is sitting with them. So we'll have more news for everyone once we hear back.
Great. All right. The next question is, I know it's early, but how far away are we from actual shovels in the ground on projects? Are 6 months, a year, etc. And the fun part about this question is because we've got such a wide range of projects, there are some investments and MOUs that we have that is ground level investment, just the beginning. And then we have other investments currently and that we are going to be capitalizing here very, very soon in a matter of a month or two that are operational projects. They're operating as we speak. And all we're doing is providing an influx of capital and then supporting them on a technology front. So we really have a wide range of projects that could very well be cash flowing in 90 days or less. And then we've got others that will take really years to capitalize. The mining industry especially. So we're pursuing some that are, again, much like our limestone mine in Zambia, it's operational. They are pulling lime out of the ground at least seasonally, because they can really only mine seasonally in Zambia due to the monsoon season. But it is an operational mine. And then, like I said, we have virgin ground that has not been touched, a shovel hasn't even gotten there yet. And we're still sorting through mining licenses and those kinds of things. So we really have a wide gamut of projects that are operational all the way to something that takes about 2 years to even get the first shovel in the ground. And we'll continue to diversify our portfolio as such, just because we want those longer term projects for the long haul. But then we also, obviously, for the balance sheet, you need projects that will cash flow sooner rather than later.
Let's see. I can take the next one.
Sure.
It's saying, kindly, if possible, share the projects currently running in Zambia. So we have a limestone mine that's running over there. We have, when we started projects in Zambia, it's because we found water for Zambia. So we have gotten quite a few hectares. I always thought it was thousands, but last time I heard was like in the tens of thousands now. Hectares of land that's given to us with the hope that we can find water for them, which we did. So there's agriculture now going on over there, limestone mining, and then the water itself obviously could many usages. So when we launched our token back in April, we are one of the first projects with quite a large amount of tokenized asset already. And that tokenized asset, a portion of that is attributed by Zambia's projects over there. In particular, underground water. We can tokenize the underground water with the valuation, of depending on the usage of. And then with the limestone, that's also another project that's going out over there.
Excellent. Here's a
I
question.
might have to ask you to take that one, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
The investor.
Yeah, would you be interested in a group of investors that can add up to a $1 million? In this case, these group of investors would have to essentially legally form an organization, an LLC, and it was to be that LLC that would invest as a whole together. And so all of their equity, the splits, everything would be done legally on their end. We're not going to do that. We would put all the tokens under the legal entity's name. We do a KYB process, the Know Your Business process, where that LLC would actually have to vet itself. And let's see, I'm trying to think of any other. The only other thing may be that if the LLC was only going to be capitalized with the investment money, it may not fit as an accredited institution. So that could be one problem that we face. I would have to dig into that as well. So I know this individual who's asking, so I can connect with you offline if that's something, and I can dig into that legal detail and get back to you on that. But as long as those people are willing to form a partnership and then that partnership invest, I'm sure we could figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question, how do the OTC orders help the token price? That's a good question, because if all the purchases are kind of behind the scene, it will not help the market price. So it really depends on how we structure those OTC deals. It has been suggested to us that a percentage of these OTC orders will go through the market, right? Providing the support liquidity that's needed in the public market. So we thought it's a great idea. Now, there have been cases where we also provide kind of incentives. So, for example, if a large order comes into the market, we will provide incentive for that OTC buyer to not sell the token immediately by providing them some kind of vested token as incentive. So that's also a way that we can structure some deals. But each deal really looks different depending on how it benefit both parties. So feel free to contact us for more detail of your particular deal. Like for example, the previous question, right? Who's a qualified buyer or qualified institution, and how will that help that buyer and or that institution the best from these OTC deals? One thing that obviously I want to make mention is we don't want people to buy a bunch of token, like and then like pump it and then dump it right away, because that's not going to help the general market. So we'll structure it in the way that's constructive for both.
Yeah, there's other benefits to OTC deals as well. Even just the fact that, we as Kula, we sell tokens to raise funds so that we can deploy funds into new investments, new regional DAOs. And this is a way, instead of selling tokens by the thousands on the centralized exchange, we can sell tokens by the millions in an OTC deal. And so we can raise funds faster through these institutions. But really, there's a huge benefit in that when you start talking to these ultra high net worth individuals or institutions, they then talk to their friends. They talk to other organizations or institutions. And so it just helps spread the word. So we are increasing our liquidity. We are increasing daily volume with OTC deals without our goal, honestly, is to increase the daily volume with OTC sales without creating big price spikes. But then we're also able to sell more tokens in a larger chunk, which helps us raise money to then deploy funds into more regional DAOs. So there's quite a few different benefits to an OTC sale.
Yeah. Let me actually jump over that one. I wanted to address the audit question real quick.
Okay.
The question was, the second audit was mentioned. There is one critical finding from first audit, status acknowledgement. Is it being fixed? Yes, it's fixed. As a matter of fact, the Kula team, we found bugs in the code ourselves, and we actually went back and told the auditor, hey, there's a bug that we found, and we fixed it ourselves. On the second audit, one obviously got to look over the code that that's fixed, how we fixed it, whether or not it's going to affect other portion of the code base, along with the new code. So yes, the previous bug is fixed, and actually we didn't tell everybody. Last month, or actually last 2 months, we have already opened up the app for our internal team. There's a group of us that volunteered to test the DAO code. Just want to make sure it works when we, before we release it to public. So that's been going on for quite a while now, and that's how the regional DAO, all the voting and the mechanisms are being fixed as we move along this process, and now it's finally ready for audit.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to kind of combine here two questions. So the first one talks about how Kula has secured a license, regulatory compliance. How much of a relief is this for the team? And how does this shift things for the future? How big is this for our company? And then the second question is really just, again, I love these questions, holding us accountable. Basically saying, hey, blockchain is a transparent technology. We are coming off, or we are advertising ourselves, marketing ourselves as a transparent company. So where are the quarterly reports? What are the financial requirements? What are your requirements for reporting, et cetera, et cetera? And yes, first of all, that first question is we have received a license out of Mauritius. And this is this is a big deal for us. This is something that we have, since day one for the last 4.5 years, have strived to be regulatory compliant in a jurisdiction around the world. We want to be held accountable. And so we have found that with Mauritius, and we will pursue more jurisdictions. It looks like the US is starting to square away and finalize their regulations around the crypto space. And so we're going to pursue compliance in many different jurisdictions. Now, with that being said, it was a part of the second question, basically saying we're not a public company, we're not held to SEC requirements, but what are the requirements for us? Well, because we are following a regulatory framework, there are audits and there are financial requirements and reporting requirements that we have just with Mauritius alone that, for the most part, will meet or would meet many of the requirements that the SEC has. We've been meeting, really weekly and twice a week, a lot of times, as directors. We got together in person in London last month. We're getting together in Dubai in person this month. And then we have our first official board meeting, as required, in October. And that October will finalize our financial budget, a lot of the reporting requirements and compliance items that we have to tick all those boxes to. And so that will basically start the clock for our quarterly reporting. So if that hopefully that answers your question. But we've had this kind of 6-month grace period to build up to that, to where we start finalizing our budget, finalizing everything that we need to, and then we begin reporting straight away after that board meeting. So I assure you, we have our feet are held to the fire in Mauritius just as much as they would be with the SEC. So we do have reporting requirements, and we will be following through on those here after that board meeting.
There's one more thing, maybe, Micah, on that point is because we're an impact investment vehicle, we care a lot about impact, that we're making. As a matter of fact, down to every project we invest in, what's the impact that they're having, right? That's how we can broadcast this impact. So in our quarterly reporting, not only will we report the financial results, we'll also report the impact that we're making. Hopefully it's measurable in a quantitative manner, right? Like a lot of times people want to see numbers, but obviously there will also be qualitative measure that we can provide. So that's going to be on top of the financial measure.
Good. Well, with Kula up and running, is the next sense of urgency to complete the app or marketing to both commercial and retail investors? And boy, to say yes to both. And we're urgently pursuing both. But Sam, if you want to talk about where the app is and how you mentioned it earlier. So if you want to just touch on that again, but yes, we're always actively marketing to investors, both retail and institutional. And then the app is key to our organization.
Yeah, the app is the key to organization because we are a DAO, right? We want everybody to participate. And what's, I guess, interesting enough, though, the app itself is also a marketing tool, if you will, that brings people participation, attention. And there are a couple of things we're looking at across the globe. The app will actually become a key component to our message, to the ability for us to get on a certain conduit that will be sitting on a lot of people's phones. So that would kind of be very interesting for us. So yes, the app is something that it wasn't like meant to be. We didn't want to create the app so that we can market ourselves. It's really for people to participate. But actually, this link back to the other question about L1. Sorry, not L1, tier 1 exchanges. So a lot of times these questions, one of the questions from these tier 1s will be like, what is your kind of usage, participation and all that stuff. We could measure participation from obviously our Kula token buyers. but we could also talk about the app usage. And interesting enough, every project we invest in, because it's a DAO that we set up, we will require people to, participate. And the best way to do that is to use our app. So we will have the app being used everywhere we invest. So that will be a nice measure for the tier ones. And we will, once our app are in people's hands, in people's phones, then we can obviously have more numbers to report to everybody. Now, next question is about USDC pair. Yeah, that's really interesting. You're right, USDT is delisted on many exchanges in Europe, so USDC will be a good pair. Above and beyond that is AVAX pair that we're thinking about, because we're on AVAX chain, so why not have that pair? It's pretty natural. I've written a message to XC, so actually, that's a good question. I actually wrote it down. Thank you for that. We're going to contact all the exchanges that we're on right now to create more pair and see what's the process moving forward there. USDC should be pretty simple. AVAX is a little bit interesting, but we can look into more pairs later. I think a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, about BTC pair or something like that, but we're not sure yet. I know we'll figure that out. But thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah. BTC pair tends to add more volatility to your price. So that's why we've kind of stuck with the stable coin. But yeah, AVAX is the next logical one that is not a stable coin. But USDC is a very, very interesting suggestion. We can pursue that pretty easily. Well, excellent. We've cleared off the questions.
Yeah. What a surprise when Turner's not even here.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you attending our AMA today. Watch out for the date coming up. Right now, tentatively October 14th for the AMA. But again, that could change. So please watch our socials. That's where our major announcements are going to come, either in social media form or in press release form. And then we'll get together every quarter, basically to chat about what's been accomplished in Kula. But again, thank you so much for being interested, invested in, and just a part of our community. We're grateful for every one of you and look forward to all the progress to come.
Awesome. Thank you. Talk soon.
Yes.